Bring the horns in. We going all in.
Probably there's a straight line between Attica and abolition, prison abolition today. I think that the children and grandchildren of the prisoners and the people who fought against what was being done in the prisons are the ones who are now abolitionists. I mean, and the folks themselves, Angela Davis for one. But anyway, yeah, so it had an impact on the whole country, I think. I really do. That is lasting even 50 years later, as much as it seems, one step forward, two steps back in so many ways. I do think it had an impact. Anyway, that's it for me. It's the myth that existed during slavery, that was perpetrated by the church, in the press, by the government, by local officials, within the culture as a whole, that does actually still exist. And you can easily follow that myth all the way through to the present day. But I think Black was tortured, he himself, and he was tortured as a representative of that myth, that construct of the Black body. But he was tortured as a real human being too, which is such stark contrast to who he really was, and as was like just a beautiful person. But yeah, I think there's no question. My daughter, the 2-year-old, ended up going studied Africana Studies at Brown and wrote a thesis about exactly that, the myth of the Black body from slavery through the present, the torture of the Black body, really. It was definitely racism, but it's the power. It's also the power of the state. The state the country was built on genocide of indigenous people. There's so little we know about that. We as a country are learning more about the racism of slavery and the horror of slavery. There's so much more we have to learn about the genocide of indigenous people in this country that started at the Atlantic and marched all the way to the Pacific. But it's the power of the state, the state flexing its muscle in the worst way. It's a war, really, on human beings, citizens.
Bring the horns in. We going all in.